Breaking news, folks. Terrorist attack in London. Guy plowed into a crowd. You see right here.
Let me bring in CNN international correspondent Clarissa Ward now. She's at our London bureau. Clarissa, what are you learning from your sources?
Well, Anna, we're just actually on Twitter looking now.
Know if it's a real or false flag. We don't know what it is. If it's Islamic attack or not. But
Thorn incident. They said officers are now responding to an incident in the Vauxhall area. Vauxhall is part of London, quite far away, completely separate from Borough Market and London Bridge, which are kind of in the east end of London. Vauxhall is in the south of London. We don't know any more about this Vauxhall incident, what it is, what's going on, whether anyone's been hurt, but they have just announced that on their Twitter account. Now, the two areas, London Bridge and Borough Market, are distinctive not just because they're both in East London, but because these are very popular places for young people, very vibrant nightlife, a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars. These areas would be very crowded on a Saturday night with people out just having a good time, enjoying their evening. And I think as you heard Paul kind of elucidate there, in many ways this does bear the hallmarks of some attacks that we've seen, but at this stage police are not...
Okay, Clarissa, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we want to go to Nick Robertson. He's on the ground and there's action going on. Nick, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Anna, riot police have just rushed through the area. They appear to have arrested one man. As they rushed away from the Borough Market area where the attack took place, they were shouting and screaming, making everyone in the area run away. At the same time, armed police, and these are the first armed police I've seen on the scene here this evening, armed police were coming in down the street, racing towards the scene, screaming and shouting at people to get out of the way. The police are very tense, very nervous right now. It's not clear why they've had to rush in the armed police at this stage, almost an hour, more than an hour now, after the event happened. But the scene where we are, which is just at the back of the south, on the south side of Borough Market where the attack took place, is a very frenetic and hectic area. We have literally had to run the last 200 yards to get out of that area. It's not like the Westminster attack in London where the police slowly moved the cordon back. These were riot-clad police officers charging at all the civilians who were standing around. There weren't many people, a handful of reporters like us. And then armed police, and when I'm talking about armed police, these are police in helmets, balaclavas, automatic weapons, not the sort of police you see on the streets of London every day. These seem to be very combat-ready officers moving into the area where that attack took place. A very dynamic and fluid.
the breaking news, folks.
Let me read you, Nick, stay with me. Let me read you what we were just getting in terms of more information coming from the London Metropolitan Police. They just tweeted an update with regard to that ongoing situation on London Bridge. They say that around 5:08 Eastern Time, it was 10:08 there locally, officers responded to reports of a vehicle collision.
Is this a false flag? We'll see. We're gonna find out, I guess.
Have then responded to reports of stabbings in Borough Market. Armed officers responded and shots have been fired. They've also just tweeted officers are now responding to an incident in the Vauxhall area, which we heard Clarissa Ward also referring to. So 3 separate zones. Nick, put it into perspective, one where you are, where you just saw all of that activity. Are you closest to the bridge, to the Borough Market, to Vauxhall area, and how are those 3 spots connected?
Well, we're, I'd say, a few hundred yards from the Borough Market, and on the other side of the Borough Market, distant from me, would be London Bridge. We did see an incident happen here. It's not clear if this is the one in Vauxhall that's being referred to. The incident we saw were riot-clad police officers taking hold of a man. They had his hands behind his back. They then led him away. They led him to a corner, held him in a corner, and then about 10 officers came around him, surrounded him before he was taken away. What the armed police officers were responding to, which seemed to be all happening at the same time from different directions, wasn't clear. But the armed officers weren't static. They were running through the street. in the direction of Borough Market, but again, not clear precisely what they were responding to. But from where we are, Borough Market is a few hundred yards behind us, and that was the scene just in the past few minutes of frenetic activity. Police officer again coming to us now, asking us to move back on it.
And did you get a good look at the person that they surrounded?
A man, 20 to 30, light build, maybe 5'6", 5'8", maximum dark hair, just collar length dark hair. Couldn't see more than that. Just one person there, both hands firmly tied behind the back.
Okay, so we're working to get more information, obviously, about that individual. Now, have you been able to talk to anybody there on the scene, Nick, who was involved in any one of these incidents directly?
To somebody who was involved directly, no. To a security officer who was in the vicinity, he told me that he couldn't.
You know if it's Islamic terrorism or what? It seemed like it may be Islamic terrorism here.
The information that continues to come from the police is for us to continue to move away, to continue to push back. The police officer is telling us that the situation has changed, that there are firearmed police officers in the area, and that's why we're being moved back. He doesn't say where those firearmed officers are, but the reason we're being told that we're moving back right now is because there are active firearmed officers in the area. Sir, is that an indication there's a gunman on the loose, sir?
Wow. A whole bunch of stuff going on here.
Thank you, sir. So for our safety.
3 incidents on a gunman around the area.
We're not able at the moment to confirm whether or not there are armed
Near London Bridge.
in the area other than the police.
Okay, Nick Robertson, we will let you get to a safe place. Please be careful out there, and please bring us an update as soon as you have additional information. But most importantly, do stay safe out there. Joining us now, CNN law enforcement analyst and former FBI Assistant Director Tom Fuentes, and also with us, CNN Global Affairs analyst Kim Dozier. So, Tom, if this incident, a third incident now, what do you think they could be dealing with?
Well, one of the things, Anna, that always comes up in these type of incidents are that sometimes plainclothes police officers running down the street
We don't know
are
yet.
spotted.
We don't know for sure. Now it's just speculation.
And it turns out it's not someone connected to the original incident, but possibly a law enforcement officer. So at this point, we don't know what the basis of the call
Exactly.
caused the police to go running in the direction of where that call was located. So we'll find that out hopefully pretty soon.
We've learned that there is an incident on the London Bridge, where there's a van that rammed into a number of people. Eyewitnesses say that they saw 5 or 6 people who were mowed down, were on the ground, not moving. There were people who were thrown into the air as this van went careening across London Bridge. Meantime, there's a second incident, a stabbing that police have confirmed now that happened at a restaurant in the Borough neighborhood, and now they say they're responding to a third incident in the Vauxhall area. They also confirmed shots have been fired, Tom. Do you get the sense that this is very much still an active situation?
Well, sure, until you resolve all of these different issues, it's absolutely an active situation. What we don't know from the stabbing incident is that we're multiple
The stabbing too. Oh, really?
and one or more other subjects fled, and that's what the other officers are in pursuit of reports of where those other subjects might have gone. We still don't know the status of the vehicle that started this whole thing. Were there any occupants still in the vehicle? Are they able to confirm yet that the occupants or driver and passengers from that vehicle are the ones that went to the market and engaged in the stabbings that occurred there, and then at least one of them having been arrested at that location by the police? So as of now, it's obvious the police are treating this still as an active situation. They don't believe they have everybody in custody, or they haven't confirmed it to the best of their satisfaction, and that's why Nick Robertson reporting that police running down the street toward the direction of the other report.
Kim Dozier is with us, CNN Global Affairs analyst. Kim, I know you went to London previously when there was the other bridge attack that we've heard a lot of people refer to, the Westminster attack that happened on March 22nd. You've been in contact with folks there, law enforcement on the ground, who are very much concerned about ISIS and other terrorist groups working in London and in England throughout the country.
Well, one of the things that I've been watching for ever since that trip there was what is the British press saying about this incident? Because British officials at the time were telling me that they've been in conversation with the media saying don't jump to the conclusion that it was a terrorist attack, essentially because you don't want to give the terrorists credit for something before you actually know that it was actually linked to some sort of violent militant. I have just seen on the BBC's feed one of their top security correspondents saying terrorism suspected. So I think it's not going to be long before we hear from the Metropolitan Police some more details to back this up. Now, one of the big problems they have there is just the sheer numbers. They've got something like 850 people who've gone to Syria and Iraq, believed to have fought for ISIS, who have returned, but they also have the problem of communities that are more isolated from the mainstream, who are not well assimilated, who have been places for militants to find and recruit followers. And we know that both ISIS and Al-Qaeda have told their followers, as they're getting squeezed in Raqqa, as ISIS is getting squeezed in Raqqa and Mosul, they've told their followers through various forms of social media, stay where you are, use whatever you have to hand, and do as much damage as you can. This happening on the Saturday evening at a landmark in London, just as people are leaving bars, going across a tourist spot at night, is a perfect target.
All right, Kim Dozier, Tom Fuentes, everybody stand by. We are going to roll
Okay,
to
folks.
the top of the hour now.
That's about it for now. Maybe there's more stuff later on.